where are you working and all that stuff. So we can start with Anjali. Yes.
Sure. So, hello, I'm Anjani, and I'm currently in the UK, and I'm working in Guernsey at a company called BWCI, and I've just started work, so this is my first job, and I've not given SP7 and SP8. Instead, I've given SP5 and SP6. I did my master's from Heriot-Watt University in UK, and there I got exemption for the later papers like CP1, 2, and SP5 and 6. And before that, I was in India, and I gave all my papers from India, directly from the society.
From IFoA only, right?
IFoA, yeah. So I'm just left with as an essay paper and CP3.
Okay, sure. Makes sense. But so as you have not studied, so we'll get to that later. We can start now. Prerna, would you like to go forward?
Sure. Hello. So I'm currently in US, and I have like all my papers are from IFoA. I have also not given SP7 and 8. I did life and derivatives long time back, but I have appeared for SA3 earlier, and like it was close. Like and I did read SP7 and 8 from like over the top, not like fully. And I have worked in general insurance for like around 4 years now. And yeah, like I'm working at AIG right now.
Okay, Swati.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Swati. I'm currently in India, working in Bangalore in Swiss Re. I have around 6.5, 7 years of experience in general insurance. And in terms of papers, I have cleared all, like I'm an associate, but I'm left with SP7 and SA3. And SP7 is something I'm struggling with for some time. But it's more like I feel I'm thorough with the course. Something is going off. And SA3, I gave it once last year in the April diet, and I realized it's better if I get some direction. Due to personal reasons, I couldn't give the November attempt. But I thought at least this subject I'll give a fresh start and see if I'm able to do SP7 also on the side. But yeah.
So have you appeared for SP8?
SP8 I have cleared.
Right.
I had appeared for it. I think 2 years back I cleared. After that it was SP7. I gave 2-3 attempts only that subject, and I realized maybe I should do SC3 as well and study.
Yeah, I just want to get to know whether you guys are thorough with SP7 and SP8, because SA3 as a subject, you cannot single it out. You need to have a thorough knowledge of maybe CP1 some parts, especially Actuarial Control Cycle. Then we need complete knowledge of SP7 and SP8, I would say. So I think, Anjani, you'll have to go through SP7, SP8 courses as well. Because if we go through papers, like speaking from the exam point of view, like when I was first appearing for my SA3, when I started giving papers, I looked at paper. What I noticed was it was very biased paper. Like it is completely SP8 biased or SP7 biased. Okay. So you have to be thorough with SP7 and SP8. SA3 would not have a lot of chapters. Like if we see the course, there are only 13 chapters, and that the first chapter is just the introduction. Yeah. So there's basically just 12 chapters. And whatever we study, like, since you are new working as well, because as we work, we'll get to know a lot of things. We learn a lot. So our work X also helps. And SA3 being like, if from the examiner point of view, I look into the paper. SA3 is a final paper. So whenever an examiner is passing someone in SA3, they think that this person is completely qualified to become an actuary, right? So when we are appearing for it, from examination point of view or from studying point of view, you just don't have to think like I'll have to just answer this particular thing that they have asked. You have to think about from all the point of view, like what could go wrong, what else thoughts are needed. Now, if you become an actuary, the next step would be becoming a chief actuary or being a signing actuary or something. So for that, you have to know, not just think about from one perspective. You have to think about all the perspectives that will affect the business, that will affect the insurance or the market. Okay. So that's what I'd like to say. And for SP7, SP8, like we'll go through some of the revisions first for SP7, SP8, and then we'll start with SA3 course. And so Swati, you are thorough with SP7 and SP8. Prerna and Anjani, you'll have to work on SP7, SP8, okay?
Yeah, sure. I've started going through the PPTs as well, and I think these live classes will be really helpful too. So try
Right. Yes. And have you guys watched any videos till now for the classes, or is it your first class completely?
I have watched
quite a few videos.
Yeah, like I have watched until chapter 3. I think next was chapter 6, so I thought I'll join.
All right, yeah, makes sense. But so we'll start from fresh only.
Also, just had a question. So I think in the videos there were some SP7 and SP8 PPTs, but they were like full SP7 and SP8. So is there any PPT which is like tailored towards SA3, like whatever I should read only for SA3?
Like it is good if you know the complete syllabus for SP7 and SP8 for SA3, but there are some specific chapters which I'll tell you. You can read from the PPT itself.
Okay.
All right. For SP7 and SP8, you guys are not familiar with it, but the starting 10 or 12 chapters are same. Like it's completely same for SP7, SP8. And the starting chapters, we just build the base of how the general insurance market works. Now, if Prerna, you have a lot of work, so you might be having knowledge. But Anjani, as we are fresh out of college, and so you should first go through those chapters to get a knowledge of what the products are there, what is covered in general insurance market.
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll just present my screen. Is my screen visible?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So today we just start with the introduction of what to expect in SA3. Like I have already told, we need to have a complete knowledge of SP7, SP8. And so if you have appeared for SP papers, you know that it's not just about theory, about whatever you read. It's much more than that. If you give CP1, SP7, SP8. So SA3 requires more higher level knowledge. Like your exams, your answers should show that you are ready, basically. Now, we should have excuse me, thorough knowledge of ACC. So, what is ACC?
The Actuarial Control Cycle.
Yeah, right. So, and what are the steps there in Actuarial Control Cycle?
Define the problem or specify the problem, find the solution and monitor it.
Okay. And it should be taken.
Monitor the experience.
Yes?
Monitor the experience.
Yeah.
And taking into account general economic and business environment.
Yes, right. All right. So we'll cover, like in this chapter, any of you have worked with solvencies in IFRS?
Not me.
I have worked with IFRS.
Right. We need more solvency to knowledge here. IFRS also would be helpful. Like I have read through the papers. Now, I've not personally worked in Solvency 2 or IFRS, but reading or going to the chapters will also help. And if you have a knowledge or you have worked, then it would be an additional advantage for you. So reinsurance concepts. So basic questions. What type of reinsurance are there? There are two basic types of reinsurance agreements: proportional and non-proportional, right? And proportional, we have two.
Quota and surplus.
Yes. And in non-proportional, we have
XOL, CAT XOL, aggregate.
Stop loss.
Yes. Aggregate XOL, risk XOL, stop loss, then CAT XOL. All right. Capital modeling, financial reporting. Excuse me. So I just don't want you guys to be just prepared for the exams, okay? But for the, like, as I said, this is the paper after which you might be qualifying as an actuary. So you need to have a complete understanding of the market, of how the market works, what is expected from a general insurance actuary, and from the exam point of view, we have to practice a lot of questions. Like at least you guys should prepare, give mock exams for 2 or 3 papers, okay? It's like you are in the exam hall. Just try to write. And for your ease, like from now onwards, now as you start studying, going to SP7, SP8 and SA3, try to make a summary note of what are the different type of points which you are getting, okay? Because there are many repetitive points you can use in your answers: reinsurance, tax, political environment. These 3 are on top of my head. Anything like, so there are many basic points which you forget in your examination point: legislation, regulation. So like I said, 5 right now. So these 5 points can be added in almost all questions, okay? So what happens is, like, it's easy 2.5 marks. So, but in the exam, what happens is we tend to forget these easy points only. And that's where the cutoff makes, like, you are either pass or fail by 2 or 3 marks. That's what happens, right? Now, we have to focus on application, communication, justification. Like any answer we write, we have to completely justify whatever our choices. Like the question itself will command that. And whenever we are appearing for any question, you always have to read the command verb, what it is. It is list. It is it can be it can be list, define, state, expand, or what is the command verb. So the command verb is very important so that you can grasp. Now if we talk it is a 100-mark paper. We have around how many 3 hours 20 minutes. That's around 200 minutes, right? So if we look at it effectively, we have 2 minutes per point, per mark. And for 1 mark, you are expected to write at least 2 points. So 1 minute per point. So you have to be very fast. What you know, you write it. And whatever you have to think about it, try to attempt it at a later point. All right. Now, just today we'll start with the actuarial control cycle then. For 1 minute, just going through what chapters are there. So as I said, there are 13 chapters. These are all case studies related on. And then of that first chapter is just the introduction of the insurance, the actual control cycle and what to expect in SA3. That's there. Then we have general insurance market. This is again a type of introduction, which if you go through the SP7, SP8 starting chapters, you'll be completely thorough with it. Much more than this 47 pages. We have taxation, legislation, professional guidance. So these are more of theoretical chapters. Then we have pricing large commercial risk. So when you will be reading this, if you have worked in general insurance for pricing sector, you'd be thorough with most of the things. Like what are the pricing in SP8? We read about pricing. Hi, Dhara.
Hi. Sorry for joining in late.
No issues. So can you just give a quick introduction of yourself? Which papers have you appeared for and just how many years of work ex and everything?
Okay, so I have cleared almost 10 papers now. I'm left with SA3, SP8 and CB2. I've worked for 2 years in pensions at Willis Towers Watson. After that, I did my master's in London. And I've just come back to India and I'm not working right now. So I'm just like preparing for papers, yeah.
So you're left with SP8. So have you appeared for SP7?
SP7, I've got an exemption from my master's. But
Right.
SP8, I have to attend with SA3, I'm assuming.
Right. So I just want to get to know whether you have idea of SP7 or SP8. So
Yeah.
as I saying earlier, that for SA3, we need a complete understanding and knowledge of SP7 and SP8 together with SA3 syllabus. So I think you guys must be having the syllabus, like the PPTs for SP7, SP8 together with SA3 syllabus, right?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. SP8, we have to study. So in SP8, I would say some of the chapters which you might be required to study. To like, it's better if you know the whole course, but some chapters would be more helpful. All right.
Okay.
Yes. So we were saying that there are basically 13 chapters here. So the first 3 chapters, like the second chapter, it's basically just introduction, which will, if you cover SP7, SP8, you're completely thorough with it. Then we have taxation, legislation, and professional guidance. So taxation will consider how insurance companies are taxed, the taxation laws, and basically that is UK based completely because IFoA is UK based. Then we have legislation, and in legislation we'll have solvencies, how solvency one was there, then why solvency 2 was introduced, what are their IFRS, so everything is there in legislation. We have professional guidance. In professional guidance, we have the codes which are issued for actuaries, the actuaries code. Then one. Yes, actual standards, technical standards, ethical frameworks. So these all will be covered here in the 5th chapter, which is professional guidance. Then we have pricing large commercial risk. So if we have studied SP8, we have a knowledge of how pricing works. There are different methods. Frequency severity approach. Then we have burning cost approach. So these 2 are the major approaches which are used in pricing. So we'll see how the regular pricing is different from pricing large commercial risk. Then we have catastrophe models. So CAT models were also covered in subject SP8. So it's just a little extension of that chapter here. Then we have return on capital, valuation basis, financial planning. So these all chapters we have in SP7, like the gist we have in SP7 as well. Then we have in CP1 also, we have studied about these. This chapter, latent and disease claims, is something completely new, which is there in SA3. Then exit strategies is also completely new. So in latent and disease claims, we'll read what is the latent, like, which is the famous latent claim? Like, we have all studied or heard about it, I think.
Asbestos.
Yes.
Asbestos, yeah.
Right. Asbestos related claims. So now we have knowledge only about asbestos, but when we read through this chapter, we'll come to know there are various other type of claims which can be considered in latent or disease claims. Then we have exit strategies, like if an insurer wants to close a particular section of business or the complete business or get rid of certain portions, how it can be done. So there are basically 6 exit strategies which are discussed in the course. So apart from this, when we'll be going through the course, there are links to further readings. Like we have, so when I was preparing for the chapter, there were some further readings which I used to go through, like some Giro papers. Like I remember reading some thing about agriculture insurance as well. There were some links, and then you guys must be getting like every actuarial magazines or something, right? On the mail. You must be receiving it every month, I guess.
Yeah.
Just be thorough with it, what's going on in the market. Because if you're thorough with what's latest, you can expect that to come in the exam. Now, if I think of on the top of head, it will be AI. Something related to AI might come. All right?
Just one thing. Like for India, because I would be appearing for the Indian exams. So their regulations are asked a lot.
Yes. So for Indian insurance, like when do we have any exams in May, right, Swati?
Yeah, May.
Okay. So I'll tell you, for Indian insurance, you don't have to go to chapter 3 and chapter 4. Okay.
Okay.
Because these are completely UK based. For Indian insurance, we have like IRDAI is there, which issues the legislation, and taxation for India is completely different. So I don't know if there is one more PPT shared, one more document shared with you in which we have Indian insurance legislation covered. Like there are different links, right, which are shared to you by II when you register them. Yes. So there is a summary of all of those.
Okay.
There, you guys, can you see it on the website?
I can check. I'm not really sure if I have seen it before. I can check and get back.
Yeah, if it's not there, I'll tell them to upload it.
Okay,
So
sure.
just don't go to it's a very huge chapter, the legislation chapter. To be very honest, I slept so many times while going through this chapter legislation. So you don't have to go through this legislation, but you'll have to go to IRDA notes.
Yeah.
So personally, for me, these chapters are very boring. Taxation, especially legislation, because you have to read about Solvency II and all everything, and you after a certain point, it's like I'm just reading words and I cannot understand. So you have to take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time to go through this chapter, particularly legislation, because it has a lot of theory in it. Apart from that, all the rest of the chapters are a little interesting. Like if I talk about pricing, CAT models, also some of the sections are there, which you might feel like it's basically overextending or something. But apart from that, all these chapters, exit strategies, problem solve, exit strategies, latent claims, CAT models, pricing large commercial risk, valuation. See, these all chapters are very interesting. And it's not, I would not say it's all completely new. When you go to the chapters, you'll see that maybe you've read it in earlier parts, maybe in some CT papers, CP1, or in your master's somewhere you have read about it. All right. So, yes, we were going to start with the actuarial control cycle right now. Just give me a minute.
I think you're mute.
So sorry. Yeah. So yes, I was saying that before we start with the syllabus or something, I would like you guys to appear some basic questions. Okay, like you guys might be aware of all of this, or we'll just discuss it and then you can answer those. Now, list the advantage and disadvantage to a claimant of PPO compared to a lump sum payment. So, what is a PPO? If you guys are aware of it.
Payment protection order.
Partial payment, yeah. So, what happens in PPO is basically yeah, it's a periodic payment option or orders. So what happens in PPO is basically instead of a lump sum, claimant is given annuities basically. So in which cases it might happen? Any ideas?
Injury claims, like motor liability.
Yes, liability claims. Suppose any accident happens and the claimant and there's a major severe harm to the claimant, then instead of a lump sum, they might be given a lifetime annuity something. And it may be index linked or fixed annuity or linked to some other index. inflation linked or something, all right. So the basic idea of PPO and lump sum is clear, right?
Yeah.
So can you guys answer this question? List the advantages and disadvantages to the claimant of a PPO compared to a lump sum payment, and for 5 marks. So I'll give you guys 10 minutes. So answer it in a way that you'll answer in the exam hall. It's 5:27 here in India right now. So we'll be back at 35. So 8 minutes works.
Yeah.
So do we have any answers? All right. I see Prerna has sent. So we'll combine the answers, okay? PPO advantages to claimant. I'll just copy paste one. Okay, so we'll go through this answer, then we'll. I think Anjani has also sent us. Yeah, so we'll start discussing the answers now. So, advantages of PPO to claimant. Inflation risk is reduced if payments match an inflation index. Longevity risk is reduced since payments are usually guaranteed throughout the life of the claimant. Okay. Investment risk is reduced since the claimant won't have to invest the money on its own. Yeah. So these all are, I would say, these are very basic points. Like these all points: inflation risk, longevity risk, investment risk. These 3 points must always come. Like hearing PPO, this point would always come. Like PPO, like if we PPO, we think of as annuity. Thinking of annuity, these 3 points would always come in your mind. Now, this is also a very good point that they might have the option to take a lump sum later. Tax benefits, right? Claimant might not utilize the lump sum well and run out of money during a later point. All right. So PPO would be useful to receive a steady income throughout the lifetime. Okay. Advantage: claimant does not possess investment risk, tax efficient, improved insurer risk management. How can you explain on this point, Anjali?
So it's like the insurer does not have to think all at once. Like the investment risk is reduced for the insurer as well. Like reduce exposure to investment risk and like estimation error.
Can you start again? What does this mean?
So I thought that the insurer at that point, if the insurer is not predicting correctly the interest rate or anything and calculating the lump sum amount, so that risk is reduced for the insurer.
But we are answering from the point of view of a claimant.
For the claimant, yeah. So that does make sense. Okay, yeah.
All right. And there are usually tables, Ogden tables, which are used to calculate the rates.
Okay.
All right. So I'll just remove this point. Lower risk of under or overutilization of amount. Okay. Basically, this point, the claimant might not be able to run out of money. All right. If it is index linked, then inflation protected. So So here, if I see you have missed one of the major point, that is longevity risk. Like you have not written
Yeah, I've actually put it
specifically.
in advantage.
Yes, overutilization, underutilization, but the term longevity risk would have been something that the examiner would be looking for.
Okay.
Okay. Then, do we have any more points?
Can we also mention something on the lines of regulatory risk, like because due to change in regulation or legislation, there's any advantage, or maybe like for PPO payments for certain injuries it's excluded, then that would be a disadvantage to the claimant.
Can you go again 1 minute?
Yeah, so I'm trying to say that in case of like any legislative change around certain kind of injuries, or like if it's not very severe, then the government might decide that such claimants shouldn't really be awarded any amount. If that happens in future and PPO is discontinued, like is that a possibility that would then fall into something like a regulatory risk?
Yes, we can write it in disadvantage that the regulation may change and so that can come in disadvantage. Now, in advantage, if do you want to add any point further apart from
Okay.
this?
No, I think that's all.
All right. So here we can also include like some of the points which I'd like to include, like easier to plan. Now it's like annuity. So the person will know that this much amount will come to me every month or every year. So I can plan my expenses accordingly, right? Now, if now there is this risk which you have written, no, that the claimant might run out of money. So if a person runs out of money, they would be relied on state, right, for state benefits. Now, if we are receiving PPO, we will not have to rely on state benefits. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Then it might be like you've written this point that they might be able to take a lump sum later, or it can be that some amount is given as lump sum and some is offered as a PPO. So that is also an option. So like initially, if we think from a claimant point of view, initially I would have to, like, suppose I have a leg injury or something, I'm not able to walk or something, then I'll have to first like adjust my house, renovate my house accordingly. So I'll need a bigger amount at the starting date, right? Instead of a PPO, just the PPO amount. So if there is an option that we can get some amount as lump sum and other as PPO, that would be more helpful. And we've also already written tax advantages. All right. So like if I have to add points here, it would be easier to plan financially. Maybe less. Like this point would be just a continuation of that run out of money. All right. So now we have already gotten 8 points here, which are pretty solid 8 points. Now we have already like 8 or 9 points. So these are easily 4 or 5 marks, but we cannot just get all of the marks writing advantages. We'll need points for disadvantages as well. Okay. So now we'll discuss the disadvantages. Okay. No emergency fund for the claimant in case they need the lump sum at any point. Okay. If the claimant thinks he or she is better at investing, they won't have the option to select where and how their money is invested. Lump sum may end up being more compared to annuity payment due to general. We cannot write that exactly. Okay, that we cannot just say that lump sum may be greater. Like, okay, so the claimant opportunity cost of receiving the lump sum. This would be a very questionable part. Okay, So this will all depend on investment and all the risks. So there are further risks also that they'll be taking on with lump sum.
Okay.
Okay, disadvantage may not fulfill initial lump sum capital requirements. Yes, that's what I said. No? Initially, a more lump sum requirement there may be requirement for lump sum could be invested poorly. So could be invested poorly by the insurer. You can write, okay, because could be invested purely. I'm not able to understand it, whether it is for claimant or insurer. So the biggest disadvantage when I think about a PPO annuity, it is credit risk. So in the two answers, I do not see credit risk here.
Oh,
There's
no, I had written it in my answer. I think if you scroll down,
where?
I've written counterparty risk, example, insurer solvency risk.
Sorry, I think it's not all completely. Oh, it may be not on next page there. Yes, sorry. Longevity risk, future inflation risk. Longevity risk would not be there, right? Because longevity risk is passed to the insurer. Anjali, it makes sense?
I think I messed up with the advantage and disadvantages. It should have been up there on the advantages thing. Yeah.
In inflation risk also, it should be there. Like you can write that the inflation, the index they use might not cover the actual inflation or something like that. In that point, you can write, but just writing inflation risk won't help. Like it is confusing me as an examiner. I'll just remove this
Okay.
now. Yes. Counterparty risk. Yes, that is credit risk basically. Tax effect may be negative, right? We can write tax in both, right? It can be positive as well as negative. Regulation might change. So regulation might change. You might have to elaborate on this point, right? Like a regulation might change and they might not be able to receive further payments in future or something like that. Not just regulation might change.
Okay.
Okay. So we have already talked about emergency fund. Inheritance, we have talked about they cannot pass it on. So emergency fund and passing to children, basically that means inheritance. These two would not come as an example, okay?
Okay.
All right. So these two are complete separate points. There is no inheritance for children and there is no emergency fund. Emergency fund may be used for any purposes. Then there is one more point which we have not written here. Can you think of it? The main, like one of the disadvantage would be like I have to keep track of the payments, right? Whether I'm receiving it or not. I have to administer the amounts correct or not, correctly linked or not. So administration expenses would be there. All right. So does this give an idea like how we have to approach for the answers, and why have Swati and Dhara not written the answers?
Sorry, I was noting it down on a piece of paper, but there were a few points that I already mentioned, so I didn't write it down.
Yeah, same here. I would type it going forward. Didn't know that had to be typed here.
These were like it's just that if you participate mono, you like it increases your thinking capability. That's it.
Yeah.
That would help you. It would be very helpful for you in the examination if you answer more and more questions. And like we get cross points, right? Then you remember, okay, that person had given this point, which was very good in the exact class. So it might. Okay, moving on. So, shall we do one more question right now? Let's do something related to actuarial control cycle now. So, okay, we'll start with actuarial control cycle. I think my screen's visible.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So we have come, I think every one of you might have read about actuarial control cycle. It's covered in subject CP1, one of the very interesting papers. So yes, so actuarial control cycle, like we discussed, it's basically specifying the problem, developing the solution, and monitoring the experience. These all have to be taken in done in the light of general commercial economic environment and professionalism. Now we talk about what are the general commercial and economic environment. So it can include reinsurance, taxation, legislation, political environment, stakeholders. So these are all the considerations that might be taken into consideration when performing any work. And if we think about any work, it's done in any work, not just any actuarial work. If we talk about, these are all done in the same cycle only, specifying the problem, developing the solution, and monitoring the experience. It's just that professionalism and the environment makes it special to actuaries. So, do you guys want me to go further deep into actuarial control cycle, or can we just start with an example?
Example works for me.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Yeah, same here.
So this is the CP1 classic example, which is there. Okay. So I think you guys might have gone through it earlier as well, but we'll do it again. So it's regarding a life insurance company, but it's just helpful to understand actual control cycle. A life insurance company is about to enter the annuity market for the first time. It intends to sell with profit insurance, without profit immediate annuities, with higher annuities for those in ill health. Describe how the actuarial control cycle can be used in pricing and ongoing financial management of the product. It is necessary to discuss how the product might be administered. It is not necessary, basically. So the important points that I'll remember in mind when appearing for this question. First would be that it is life insurance okay. It is entering annuity market and for the first time. So it does not have any experience with it. It will have to rely on external experiences from reinsurance, from the market, from competition to price its product. And so selling without profit makes it a little easier. But as they are having two types of annuities, like ill health and non-ill health. So they'll have to price it differently. Okay. And giving higher annuities to ill health, it may be what is going on in the market. So like here we have to first specify the problem. So what is our problem here? Anything? What would be our problem here?
Pricing.
In pricing, what will be the major problem? Longevity, right?
The data and modeling.
Yes. So longevity, like the client specifying the problem, the client will be transferring risk to the insurance company. So first of all, any annuity product we think about, longevity risk is transferred, investment risk is transferred, which we considered right now in PPO as well, right? It was an advantage for the claimant, but it is a disadvantage for the insurer, right? So longevity risk, investment risk. Then problem is to we have to set appropriate premium considering all the risk which we receive, deliver a profit to the company, be competitive in the marketplace, right? So this is the problem which would be there. For then after specifying the problem, the problem statement makes sense, like we said it correctly, like the specifying the problem, like rating the products would be a main problem here. So if it is a 10 mark or maybe like if we think it's a 5 mark question right now, then 5 mark we need 10 points. 10 points broken down into 3 parts. So 3 marks, about 3 marks per point per part of the cycle. So for 3 parts we'll need 6 points. Like whenever I see a question, I see the marks. मेरे दिमाग में ये I have. Are you comfortable in Hindi, right? Everyone. So I use Hindi. Yeah. So if I see a question and I see the mark, the first mechanical thought which comes in my mind is देखिए मेरे को कैसे break down करना है, मेरे को हर एक part में कितने points लिखने हैं, so that I can get the marks. ठीक है? So in specifying the problem, like setting the premium rates, that is what you said correctly. I think who had answered, Anjani or Swati, I don't remember. Yeah. Okay, so yes. So just writing that we have to specify or define appropriate premium, determine appropriate premium won't be acceptable. You have to write what risks are being transferred, which risks, major risks are there, then what are the conditions to the premium. First of all is the profit, right? If we are not delivering profit to the company, the premium rates won't make sense. And it must be competitive, otherwise we won't be able to sell. Then developing the solution. अब हमने प्रॉब्लम डिफाइन कर लिया, इसका सॉल्व कैसे करेंगे? वी हैव ऑलरेडी नो कि हमें कंपेटिटर डेटा लेना होगा या री इंश्योरेंस डेटा लेना होगा, प्रॉफिट टेस्टिंग करना होगा. व्हेन वी हैव रिटन एक्सेप्टेबल प्रॉफिट, तो प्रॉफिट टेस्टिंग कम्स इन माइंड. To price it, we'll need models. Now, as it is a new product, we'll not be able to build a model on ourselves. We'll have to acquire it from the market. Okay, then we have to get initial assumptions relating to longevity, investment risk, credit risk, which tables are to be used, and if we are going to give ill health annuity, so what products, what sicknesses should be considered, and how much greater should the annuity be. Okay, and what type of investments must be done. Now, अगर life insurance company है, the basic investment would be bonds, right? क्योंकि bonds का cash flow match होता है annuity के cash flow से. Are we okay with that? क्योंकि ये cash flow वाला चीज, it's not just about life insurance. You have to understand the cash flows for general insurance market also.
Yeah.
So the company will need pricing and profit testing model that can project the future development of this line of business in various circumstances. The model needs to be developed or acquired, or existing model modified. The first stage in pricing product is initial assumptions and future experience. The actuary will need to discuss the mortality basis with the underwriter. The actuary will need to discuss investment returns and appropriate matching assets with the investment manager. Bonds. The judgment will need to be applied as the extent of money margin or prudence. Reserving basis क्या रखेंगे, capital requirements क्या रहेगा product का, फिर sensitivity test करना होगा, मैं profit कैसे होंगे, tail variance वगैरह check करना होगा, Okay. अब ये सब like in everything specifying the problem, the more important, like कोई भी questions आप ACC के अगर go through करोगे, सबसे ज्यादा huge part आपका developing the solution होता है. Because in this you have to cover almost everything. कि आपको क्या क्या चीज माइंड में रखना है. Regulations, professional guidance, investment risk, credit risk, longevity risk, assumptions, कौन से एनवायरनमेंट में हम वर्क कर रहे हैं, कंपटीशन कैसा है, रेगुलेटर्स कैसे है, क्या क्या रेस्ट्रिक्शंस है प्रोडक्ट में, फिर हम खाली वन कंट्री के लिए कर रहे हैं या डिफरेंट कंट्रीज में करने वाले हैं, सब जगह क्या रेगुलेशंस है, क्या चेंजेस है, कंज्यूमर बिहेवियरल पैटर्न्स क्या है उस मार्केट में. सो एवरीथिंग वुड कम अंडर डेवलपिंग द सोल्यूशन. Actually take account of commercial and economic environment when deciding on the resultant rates. For example, comparing the resultant rates with those available elsewhere, like competitive analysis basically. Then monitoring the experience. In this case, if you think about, it is a new company, like they are about to launch, life insurance is about to launch annuities for the first time. So monitoring the experience would be a very major part for it. Like they'll have to regularly see कि कैसे rates हमारे market में competitive है या experience as per actual versus AV, actual versus expected है या नहीं है. If it is not कि हमारा actual बहुत high हो रहा है compared to expected, why is it happening? Are we getting कोई selection हो रहा है हमारे against, or what is happening? Why is it not performing as expected? Or if it is very good in our favor, that is also not a very good indication. एंड क्योंकि ये एन्युटीज है तो इट माइट टेक टाइम फॉर द डेटा टू डेवलप, क्योंकि लॉन्ग टर्म प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं. बट इन द इनिशियल स्टेज मोर ऑफ मॉनिटरिंग वुड बी रिक्वायर्ड कि कोई भी assumptions हमारे गलत तो नहीं है, बिकॉज अ स्मॉल रॉन्ग assumption कैन ऑल्सो मेक अ ह्यूज इम्पैक्ट ऑन द प्रॉफिट्स एंड लॉसेस ऑफ द कंपनी. एंड मोस्टली वी आर लाइक अगर आपका बहुत प्रॉफिटेबल है तो इट विल बी लाइक हमारे रेट्स अगर काफी हाई है तो इट विल नॉट बी एबल टू सेल, तो इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल हमें नहीं मिलेगा, तो इट विल एट द एंड इट विल बी वेरी कॉस्टली फॉर अस. ठीक है. आफ्टर द लॉन्च द एन्युइटीज ऑफ the annuity experience will be monitored regularly to determine how it's compared with assumptions made at launch. It may take time for a significant volume of data to build, particularly if mortality experience is being monitored by type of illness. अब ये देखो, like I missed it, but आपको ये देखना, ये जो हमने दिखा था by type of illness is important. Like it just shows कि हाँ आपने क्वेश्चन बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ा है, कि आपने एक बाय टाइप ऑफ, मैं टोल्ड कि हाँ मैं इट विल टेक टाइम टू बिल्ड अप डेटा का मोर्टेलिटी वगैरह, बट बाय टाइप ऑफ इलनेस भी अगर करेंगे तो विल नीड मोर वॉल्यूम ऑफ डेटा. If the experience differs markedly from the initial assumption, revised assumption may be determined. The product will be profit tested once more, which may lead to change in premium rates. Deviations between experience and assumption may also need to change in reserving basis. So experience, before we jump to any conclusion, we'll have to discuss all of these with other people, like people in finance, underwriters, or market scholars who can help us understand it better. Because there's underwriting cycle effect also, right? So underwriting cycle, are you familiar with it?
Yes. The soft and hard market.
Yes. Okay, so underwriting cycle का भी effect हो सकता है for any pricing. As we are new, we might not know what the current stage of the cycle is. ठीक है, the experience should be discussed with underwriters. Changes to premium rates offered by competitors may also be monitored. कि मान competitive ना हो जाए. It is possible the company find that it cannot offer premium rates that are both competitive and profitable. Excuse me. In which case it may withdraw from the marketplace. If the rates appear too competitive, it may be an indication that the standard mortality assumptions or ratings used are inappropriate, or that the marketplace is not competitive, in which case larger profits can be made. Okay, so you guys are already aware about actuarial control cycle, so it's just आपका brush up हो गया what is to be expected, okay, and how we are supposed to write any answer. like I said, for any question, we have to first be very thorough with the command verb. If it is list, we do not have to explain. We'll have to just list the points. If it is explain, we have to write the heading and then explain what does it mean. All right, we have discussed type of reinsurance also. Who are the providers of general insurance market? So there will be composite insurers. The state may provide us. There may be general insurance companies. There may be specific companies which provide only particular products. Then there are Lloyds. There are self-retention group. Reinsurance companies might also provide us with general insurance products. So these are the basic providers of general insurance companies. And an insurance company, any insurance company may be a proprietary or mutual. Self-retention groups, mutual associations, captives. So what are captives?
Companies which are set up and their primary purpose is to provide insurance to the parent company.
Right. Okay, mutual associations, E&I clubs. Okay. So would you guys like to start with chapter 2 completely today, or should we start tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Right, like we can keep it a light class as this was introduction, and I just want you guys to be thorough with it. Like for chapter 2 also, maybe we can do chapter 2 and then we can go back to SP7, SP8, because I would just like you guys to brush up some of the things for SP7, SP8, some of the topics. Like in that, we'll also cover which chapters need to be studied by you guys. Like, as I said, it would be very good if you go through all of the syllabus, but it's huge, I understand it. So I just give you some of the chapters which will be more helpful.
Okay.
All right.
Also in the future classes, so is it like, do we complete the syllabus and then do we also practice any exam paper questions in classes, or like how does it go, the structure?
Okay, all right. So we'll discuss the structure. So what we'll be doing first, we'll try to complete the syllabus. Like, as I said, that it's not very huge syllabus, but we'll try to go deep in it and dig out more points, do more questions in the class. So as we'll be doing more questions, we will be doing questions from the past papers only, or from maybe from the book, some of the questions from the book. And after that, you can, so once we are done with the whole syllabus, we will have mock exams.
Okay. And like, by when do we expect to finish? Like, by when do we start the mock exams? Around
So
when?
I would actually, 1 minute. Let me just see my timetable. So I was previously aiming to complete the syllabus by Feb end.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that will give you enough time. When are your exams? It's on 21st, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So if we, like, it may be a very hard target to complete by Feb, or maybe not, depends on our speed and how we proceed with it. But likely I'm looking forward to complete the syllabus by Feb end, or maybe March mid maximum. And then we can go through just revision classes. We can have revision classes or any doubt classes that you guys need, and mock exams. So as I said at the start also, mock exams would help you a lot to come up, because I'm telling you, the first mock exam is not going to be easy. When you appear for the first mock exam, even it's not easy to generate points, and especially in mock exams, more than in exams itself. So go to give more mock exams. It will help, and I will be doing more questions, and in the questions in the class. So I would really ask you guys to participate in that, even if we are getting same points from same people. So it's not like, you'll understand, okay, they are also thinking like me. Or even if we get some new points, even points that I might not be able to think. So that can also happen. So it will just broaden our horizon and make us more prepared for the exams and in life also, I guess.
Okay, and do we have revision notes on our dashboard somewhere? Like to keep
Actually,
practicing chapter wise?
there are notes which are there, but I don't know what's available to you guys right now.
Okay. I see notes and PPTs.
Yeah, that's the notes. Like we have a chapter wise.
Oh, revision notes. Okay. Yeah, I do see.
Yes.
Okay. And one last question related to exam. Like, would you know what were the centers in previous exams attempts? I haven't given any exams since they started to move it offline and online and all.
So they have center, like where are you based?
USA, New York.
New York, I'll have to look into it. Like in India, I know where they had centers previously. In New York, I guess they'll have centers, but I'll just go to what was there previously.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll end the class today.